Okay, so hello and welcome. I want to do a short recording of the Microsoft Service Hub roadmap for 2020 and the first half of this year. There was just a recording with Microsoft, a webinar, which talked about this exact same, but I want to add some of my own things to that. So just by starting off, my name is Lars Bauer. I'm working as a black belt in collaboration at Tech Data Marek. I also do need to go away from all the technique, even though I do really love it a lot. I do trail running in the mountains, which is actually quite stupid since I live in Denmark and there's absolutely no mountains here. So this is actually a picture from Denmark at Bornholm. This is the closest we get to a mountain. And this is where I usually go during my holidays. This one is from Chamonix. But as you probably already know, I do a lot with the Surface Up. And my point is actually that you need to go out to the customer and really demonstrate and show the Surface Up. It doesn't really sell itself on a PowerPoint. So what I do is that I bring the Surface Up into the back of my car, and I even bring the steel case mount as well. So there it is, my very large car, a Peugeot 107. I could actually fit the Surface Up in there, and I will put everything back together in less than 10 minutes. So yeah, and this is just a fun pictures that my colleague took. It is actually from our own office where I took the Surface Up to us on the back because the lift was not working that day. So it is really light and easy. Okay, so going back to what we were supposed to talk about this day, Microsoft does a lot of things with the modern workplace, and as you all know, collaboration is a key to that. So not only the collaboration where we sit on different location, but the thing that we're now starting to work in teams get much more easier if we get the right tools to work with that. A lot of people are working remote, not every day, but we see more and more that people are working from home, working from a customer side, working at a reseller, and that is also how we do it. So every time we have a meeting ourselves, we always add a Teams invite in the button so everybody is able to join from wherever they are. In the workspace, we see that around 15% of all meeting rooms have been equipped with video conference, some kind of video conference system. It might be a hub, it might be a Microsoft Teams rooms, it might be Cisco, anything else. But what we actually seeing is right now is more than 30 to 50% is actually being equipped with video right now. So it's just down our alley with the Surface Hub. We know that it will actually benefit a lot if people start using video, because a lot of this communication is how we see and react with each other. So it's the non-verbal communication. Coming to that, Microsoft is expanding the way that the Surface Hub is going out. So we will be having a lot of new countries that will be able to have the Surface Hub. But as some of you might know, that when Microsoft presented the Surface Hub, they were actually presenting the Surface Hub 2X to kind of see where they want to hit with the way we see the market, the way we would like to push forward to start to adopt new technologies. But what Microsoft has seen is actually from last year, the experience that the deployments of the Surface Hub was not only in the cloud as maybe a lot of people thought they would be. We did have seen a lot of hybrid environments. So in that case, we would need to also adapt to that. And of course, the adoption as Team, as a meetings platform, that has also really been evolving. So not always would the Surface Up in the 50-inch screen fit into every meeting room. So we did also see the sales on the Microsoft Teams rooms really have been increasing, and the commitment from a lot of different vendors have really also done that. We see a lot of attention in the market for that. So what we've seen as a request for the customers in working with the Surface Up is, of course, the Azure Active Directory. We would we would also like to have the Microsoft Teams rooms and the Surface Hub work even better together. Also, there was a lot of people that was mentioning that, well, it's great that we have the Surface Hub and it's running Teams, but we are really used to working a lot more with Teams. We don't use Teams only for the collaboration part with video and audio. We also use all these co-authoring in Office documents and all those kind of stuff. So we will see definitely some improvements in the Microsoft Teams as well on the Surface Hub. So coming back to the launch of the Surface Hub, we showed this kind of tile mode where we had 4 Surface Hub in a portrait mode working together. So one really driving it and then having daisy chain to Surface Hub 2 display. And that is actually not the biggest request right now, because they would actually better have a big screen and not have these bezels down in the middle of the content. So what we are bringing to market is instead a 85-inch Surface Hub, and that will have some more information in a bit later. Okay, so we better hit off. So the top priorities for Microsoft this year is actually that, of course, as I just mentioned, they want to bring the Surface Hub 2S to the market, but they are also working on a new Windows version, which will bring a major software update to the Surface Hub. So what we are seeing right now is that the Surface Hub is on a 17.03 Windows version, and we will be seeing that this one will be on an updated Windows version, which will be out this year. So what that means is that it will be able to be downloaded to the Surface Hub 2S, but it will also be able to be installed on the Hub version 1, which customers already have installed in their offices. And of course, there will be some new improvements and a lot of new stuff. It's not all that Microsoft is able to share yet, but there is some of it. Yeah. So a lot of people have been asking, is the Surface Hub, will that be able to do autopilot? And we know it will be, but I'm not sure that it will come with this version of the software update. I do really hope it will be, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But what we'll see is that we will have a version of the Windows which will be a long-term version, so it will be supported until 2025. And of course, it will be a lot of things updated on the IT deployment, so that part would be easier, and also managing the Surface Hub. And I guess also, well, I actually know that there will also be some improvement on how you would be able to see the usage of the Surface Hub. That would probably already be in around March. Okay. So what will the Surface Hub update otherwise add? It will add that some of you probably know that we had the issue. So if you are joining Azure 80, it wasn't really working well with the single sign-on. So that one will be fixed. It will also support conditional access on the applications. So if your company requests that, that would be possible. Also, from the admin perspective, it would be able to be an admin on the Surface Hub without being a global admin. So that would help a lot. On the Surface Hub, we had 2 pen inking at the exact same time. That will be also available in the Surface Hub 2S when we have this new update. Although right now you is able to draw with your pen and with your finger at the same time. But 2 pen inking would be able to do that as well. And then the button of this pen from my Surface Pro, I'm used to push the button here in the back when changing slide when doing presentation on stage. And there is a button on the Surface Hub Pen 2 as well, so that pen will be able to do changing the slides in PowerPoint, and it would probably also be able to do other things in other applications, but I'm not really aware of what it is quite yet. Easy authentication will be improved, and there will also be a lot of Teams improvement, and that might even be even before the software update. I know that Microsoft have been talking a lot about the 3x3 video feed in a Teams application, so you're able to have in total 9 video feeds from different locations. And there will also be this proximity join that we already see on the Microsoft Teams systems. Another thing, kind of the same with the proximity join on the Teams system, we will have a new feature called coordinated join. So it's actually, if you both have a Microsoft Teams room and a Surface Hub in the same room, it would be able to join the same meeting at the same time with the same account. So imagine that you're pushing join the meeting on either the Hub or the Microsoft Teams rooms. Both the devices will start up, and you will actually be able to have a video call on the Microsoft Teams rooms using the cameras from that and the microphones, and then have the Surface Hub more like a collaboration part for the content. So actually, back to the 3x3 video feed, since that Microsoft is actually showing it, it would probably not be too far away. So it is actually quite interesting to see this part where you have several screens working together in the same meeting. I did ask already if it was possible to switch between the cameras from the Microsoft Teams rooms and the Surface Hub during a call, and I'm not sure that would be possible yet. It's a great feature, and I think we will see more about that later. Okay, so some of you might not even know that the Surface Hub wasn't certified for Teams. Of course, it works great with Teams and also Skype, but there is actually the Teams certification under the way. The only thing that will be changed, or you need to be aware of, is that the pickup range from the microphone, since it needs to be Teams certified, it will be in the documentation saying 2.3 meters, but we actually know that the microphone works up to around 8 meters, and that is still working perfectly. But be aware of it. If somebody is watching in the documentation for the Team certification, it will be 2.3 meters. And of course, working with the 84-inch Surface Hub later this year, there will be Team certified devices, ceiling microphones, pucks on the tables. So there will be several third parties equipment that will be Team certified and still being able to bring a great Teams experience on the Surface Hub 2S. Okay, yeah, that was it. So the 85-inch with panels, it's not a 3x2 dimension as we has on the Surface Hub 50-inch. It will be a 16x9, but it will be with the exact same compute power as the Surface Hub in the 50-inch display. So that one will not change at all. There is right now a few devices of the 85-inch, but unfortunately, so far as I understand, only in Redmond. And this time we are starting to see, we would like to see one in Europe as well. But basically, it is a 50-inch display just in the 85-inch, cover, or how you say that. But so it's all the same functions, but it somehow it would be nice to see the 85-inch and how that would work out. We have heard previously that this was supposed to be in the market in H1, so no later than June. But what we will probably see is that won't hit the market until the end of 2020. The APC battery for the Surface Up, we still haven't seen any batteries yet, but what we will see is that they are starting to roll out very soon. And what the battery will give you is, of course, this possibility to unplug the Surface Up, roll the Surface Up out to a town hall meeting or similar, and you will be able to have a 2-hour run on the Surface Up without a power plug just nearby. And when you plug the hub back in, it will be fully charged within 1.5 hours or something like that. Okay, so, and of course what you also see is that you will be able to see the battery life and the welcome screen. So it would be possible to see when it's soon out of battery, and it will also be possible to see on the battery there is on the back some LEDs that shows how much power it is left on the battery. So the rollout now in Q1 in Europe, we will see, I'm based in Denmark, so we will see the batteries quite soon. Yeah, and wave 2, that will be a bit later. But getting back to the roadmap, more or less, we have already talked about the battery. We have talked about the major update, and we did also talk about the 85-inch. But what we also will see is that we will be able to run Windows 10 Pro or Enterprise configuration on the Surface Hub 2S. And that will actually mean, so if you have some people that have a Surface Hub in their own meeting area, it would be possible to add your own account and run it like a regular PC. We did have a few requests for that already, actually, so it would be nice to see how that one is working. So it's actually a Surface Hub 2S, but running a normal Windows 10 version. What we also would see is that we will have a Surface Hub 2 display. In my opinion, that would be great if we could in the future daisy chain the Surface Hub 2S. So if, for instance, we have a 2S here, we could daisy chain it to a 2 display. I think that would be the perfect fit for those guys who want to have a dual display setup. On the other hand, what Microsoft is telling right now is that we will have the Surface Hub 2 display for those who want to run special applications that is not available on the Surface Hub 2S. So you can actually just plug your PC to the Hub 2 display, and it will still be delivered with the camera and one pen. So more or less the same experience as the Surface Hub 2S, but please be aware of that it's not possible to upgrade to a Surface Hub 2S later on, because it's not available to have the PC cartridge in the 2 display. So that was it from me. Thanks for listening. I hope you got just a few updates from the roadmap on Surface Hub 2S. So I'm Lars Barrow, and thanks for joining. See you. Bye.